We're going to continue our series of mining stocks with huge upside potential if things go right. Today we're going to talk about Endeavour Silver, former darling of the past commodity supercycle that then had a steep fall from grace and is flying completely under the radar. But there are developments happening right now and in the coming years that could make Endeavour Silver a really interesting investment in the silver junior producer sector. Multi-bagger potential is on the horizon. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. So let's start with the Silvers Miners ETF. This is it. Phenomenal returns in 2025, up 68% year to date. And after a run up like this, and we see the same with the gold, GDX senior producers, GDXJ junior producers, it is very hard to find value among the big good company. Now, if you want to find values for your investments, you have to go more and more out on the risk curve, which means either you look at junior producers and developers with problems, high country risk, production issues, or you're going to look at the super high risk small junior explorers where you will always find market inefficiencies because these stocks completely fly on the radar, but also have massive risk. So I would like to turn our attention to a junior producer from the silver sector that falls into the first category, a junior producer with problems, but has a big time upside that nobody's talking about right now. And we are talking about Endeavour Silver. And to start with this, I would like to show you the long-term chart from Endeavour Silver that nobody is talking about right now, because that's going to give you an idea what we're talking about right now. So this is the 2025 chart. And you see it's fine. Endeavour Silver is up 49% year to date. So it significantly underperformed the Silver Miners ETF. While a lot of silver stocks have made new all-time highs, Endeavour Silver is still way below its all-time highs. So let's zoom out. Let me show you what the situation with Endeavour Silver is that nobody's talking about right now. We're on the weekly chart, and here you have it. We are forming a massive base. If you've been with this channel, then you know I've showed you similar formations from gold producers, gold junior producers, silver junior producers in the past year, especially winter 2024, beginning 2025. That's what they all looked like, and then they broke to the upside. That's the formation you want to trade in the mining sector, but you don't find it very much anymore among the producers. They've all run up, not so much Endeavour Silver. You can clearly see if we break this yellow resistance zone, we are finishing a 12-year base. That will, just on technical terms, unleash massive upside potential. Short to medium term, $10. Long term, just on chart analysis, probably $13 to $15. But the fundamentals that we're going to talk about now are saying could go much higher than that. So let's get into the company brief overview, because that is not the interesting part. You can hear about that everywhere and read about that. You come to Hot Trades of the Day to get the information beyond the presentation, beyond what you read in the mainstream media. That's why we don't talk about commodity stocks that everybody's talking about, the Alamos Golds, the Agnico Eagles, right? The Vizsla Silvers. We're talking about the commodity companies that are not in the focus of the stock market yet. And if you like this content, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, takes you a second, helps us out helps you out that you're going to hear stories like the following from Endeavour Silver. So let's get into it. Endeavour Silver has 3 producing mines, 2 of them in Mexico, a new one in Peru. That's great. It's a mid-tier silver producer. The 2025 guidance, let me move this deck over a little bit so you can see it a little better. Here we go. There you see the guidance. 4.5 to 2.5 million ounces of silver and a nice additionally 31 to 34,000 ounces of gold. With current gold prices, that's nice, right? That makes them a mid-tier producer. And the management has clearly stated that the goal is to become a senior producer, which would mean a significant increase in production of silver and silver equivalent. The most important project for Endeavour Silver are not the producing mines, but it is what you see down here, the mine in development, the Cerro Negro mine in Mexico. That is the growth driver. That is the big one, right? Because, as you can see here, here are the 3 producing mines and their percentage, what they bring to the table as far as the ounces of silver equivalent. And you see that the Guanaceví project, I like how I said that, makes up 51%. But this project has a lot of problems. But one step after another. So, the management plan, again, is to become a senior silver producer. If they're able to deliver on this, this stock has big time upside potential, multi-bagger potential. However, this management is also well known in the commodity sector for over-promising and then under-delivering. The growth story is the Copla mine in Peru, which is a new mine, and the start of the Cerro Negro mine. If that happens, so if Copla, the production gets ramped up to the goals and the targets that the management has, and Cerro Negro goes into production as a success, massive upside potential. However, Copla is important, but it's really Cerro Negro that's the story. Why is that? Well, Copla, and this is important to understand because the management, I don't like silver equivalent, I like silver pure. And then whatever else is there, okay, is there in the ground. May it be industrial metals or gold. But silver equivalent is a very fancy way how companies try to distract shareholders and potential investors what is really going on and what's the composition of a project. This is a Copla mine, and as you can see, it's only 40% silver and 60% industrial metals. And the prices of the industrial metals, with the exception of coppers, not been great, right? So we're talking, this is lead, this is zinc, this is copper. Copper is good, we like copper. Zinc, chart looks okay, it's gonna go up, but lead has done nothing for years. So they're gonna sell it off, they don't care because they only care about the silver, but obviously it would be way better if it had a higher percentage of silver. So this is a nice project, this is a good project, but this project alone will not turn around the stock. This will not trigger the multi-bagger returns, right? The multi-bagger returns is the start of the Cerro Negro project. Why is that? Well, this leads us to the point why the stock has been such an underachiever. First, the 2 producing mines they had before they acquired the Copla mine are in Mexico. Mexico was out of favor for years. That's not their fault, nothing they can do about it, right? This is changing now, so this is positive for Endeavour Silver. And again, I would like to reiterate, we know that this company has problems. Otherwise, the share price wouldn't be where it is. That's not the issue. What what we want to see is, can they fix the problems? Can these problems be fixed? Will these problems maybe go away naturally or even become advantages? Because if that is the case, then this is a real value play in the silver junior producer sector where you're not going to find many anymore. So we have the Mexico situation, which was a problem for the share price for a while. Again, this is going away now. We've seen M&A in Mexico in the past month. The second big problem is that the company has been missing guidance a lot in the past years. And the reason is the production at the big Guanaceví mine, which is the most important, that's the cornerstone of Endeavour Silver, has been dropping in 2024 dramatically, and it looks like it's going to be basically steady in 2025 over 2024, but down significantly to where it used to be. So if we know that the cornerstone mine is having production problems and probably won't get back to peak production anytime soon, if at all, then you understand why the next mining project to go into production, the Terronera project, is so important for Endeavour Silver. However, there have been numerous delays for the Terronera project in the past, which is not unusual. That's not a problem, right? But that scared off especially institutional investors. So this leads us to the last problem, which is a significant one that Endeavour Silver has, and that is, look right here, they're all in sustaining costs for producing silver are $25 to $26 an ounce. That is insanely high. Just to give you a comparison, right now I am analyzing an Explorer for my personal investment in a different country in Latin America, higher country risk profile than Mexico for sure. But if the company I'm looking at, if they get these silver projects into production, their costs will be between $7 to $12 an ounce. And now look what Endeavour Silver is doing. Again, both of the producing mines, underground mines, they always have higher production costs. And Guanaceví mine has problems with lower grades, but still, that is way too high, right? However, again, all of this is known. There's the old saying on Wall Street, right? If it's in the press, it's in the price. So the important question for us is not these problems. The question is, how does the company deal with these problems, right? And what are the chances that come out of this? So I already told you, investors are warming up to Mexico again. So that problem will disappear. The copper mine will bring growth to Endeavour Silver because they're probably going to be capable to hold the lower production. And in 2025, the baseline for the silver production of the Guanaceví mine is not the 2023 output, which was significantly higher, but 2024. So that will probably lead to growth in 2025 and 2026, mostly in the category of silver equivalents, again, because of the high percentage of industrial metals in the copper mine. Terronera, and here comes the big news, right? The ramp up is progressing. The start is on the horizon, and that's why they titled their presentation, Growth is on the Horizon. There's no date set when this is going to happen, but when this announcement happens that they're going into commercial production, that will be a big trigger for the company. One of the reasons this is supposed to bring down the AISC cost significantly from $25, $26, $27 an ounce down to $16 to $17 an ounce. Now, I'll believe it when I see it, but it is very likely that the cost is going to come down. Because Endeavour Silver has about, and there, let me show you this because this is a better way to visualize it. So even if they bring down the asset costs a little bit, that will offer a massive beta to the silver price for Endeavour Silver. Why? Well, you see it in the bottom graphic here, right? About 57% is silver. That is pretty high. That's a pretty high percentage. You add the 34% gold, and we're talking about 91% comes from gold and silver prices. So if the silver price goes to 45, maybe even higher, and at the same time Endeavour Silver has the chance, through the Terra project, to lower the ASIC production costs, there's massive potential for margin improvement for the company and to generate massive, massive profit growth. And that's obviously what the stock market loves to hear. This leads us to the next point that's really interesting. Endeavour Silver, because it was such a darling in the last super cycle, still has a lot of fans, and about 60% of the company is owned by retail, which is a lot considering the market cap is around $1.6 billion. Usually don't have that high of a retail crowd in such a big producer, be it gold or silver. But that also means institutions only hold 40%. So if the management can deliver on Terra, bring this into production, again, we are in the ramp-up phase already, right? The start of commercial production is on the horizon. The management hasn't really pointed out, at least I couldn't find it, a date or even a range when they think that's going to happen, which I don't like, but makes sense after they overpromised and underdelivered in the past, right? That will be a major trigger. It will be the first domino to fall. If they then bring down the asset cost from that second domino, if they can generate growth in the silver production and the gold production, on Terra is 60% silver, 40% gold only. No industrial metals. Excellent, right? Next domino falls down. Then this stock has a lot of room to run. Now let's switch back to the stock real quick. And now you understand why after the deep fall 2022, 2023, the stock has been going up, right? It's been going up cautiously because the big news hasn't hit yet. But when it hits, it'll basically be too late to get in. So I'm not invested in it right now. I have it on my watch list. I would be interested to buy it, but at a lower price. Why? Because I would like to protect myself from further delays of the Terra project. But if you want to get in on a junior producer that nobody's talking about right now in the silver sector, that has great upside potential and has what I really like, the catalysts for big time growth, not only through increasing silver prices, but also through increase of production, silver production, because then you have the double whammy. Endeavour Silver might be interesting, and you might be interested in opening a starter position at the current prices, or if we trade down to about $5. So, hey, we got it in one video, and it's still a decent time. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next mining stock we're going to be talking about here at Hot Trades of the Day. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.